Hey guys, Darren Neese here. Today we're going to build out a screen that will edit customer and vehicle information. We're going to deal with one-to-many relationships and learn how to make that foreign key between two SharePoint lists. You're going to use this all the time building out applications. So this is the screen that we built out last week where we list the customer data. This week we're going to build out the edit screen that will allow us to add and edit customers and the respective vehicle information. So once you select a customer, you'll see the edit screen like this. You have the customer details on the left side, the vehicle information in the middle, and the respective vehicle information to edit on the right. That's what we're going to build out this week. So let's go. So we have this screen set up just how we want it. We have the customer listing here. They can either click on the individual rows to go to the edit screen to edit that customer, or they can click on this add new customer. We'll go to the same screen, but we'll be adding new customers at that point. So I'm going to hold down, let's see, let's actually click on one of these guys here. Let's use Amy Davies. Okay, there we go. We see that Amy Davies is brought over. Okay, now we're going to reuse some stuff on this screen. That's why we copied this particular screen, but it's going to be changed up quite a bit. So we have an add edit screen here. Now this is going to be changed up quite a bit. I am going to make this gallery skinny here. I'm thinking we've got 3 sets of grouping of data, just customer information, like their name, their email address, that type of thing, right? Then we have their car information, and then we have all of the work that's been done on their cars. I'm thinking that we could display all of this information here on this screen. I'm going to take these little labels and move them over a little bit, and I'll make this a little more skinny. Oh, look at that label. That is a rogue cowboy label. So let's go with width here, and we make that to be that rectangle.width. Very good. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to select all this stuff. And whenever you select everything like that within a screen, you're not selecting everything, not everything on the screen, just a set of controls like I did, like dragged over. Sometimes you'll actually get your spinner control, so you don't really want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to unselect the spinner. Now I can move this stuff around. Now the question is, I think that I want to group all of these controls together. So I'm just going to right click and I'm going to say group. Okay. And I am just going to move it over. Let's see where my guides are at here. Let's make sure everything is where it should be. We'll put the menu on top. Spinner should be on top of that. Now, why isn't that showing up exactly? Probably because I didn't log on as myself. So let me log on as myself. There we go. Now I'm a debugger. So now we can modify the customers. We can go in and select Amy Davies again. Okay. What I want are those little corner pieces that I had on the other screen. And let's go take that little corner piece. If you don't have this on your screen, just bring over a rectangle and make it 20 by 20 or whatever number that you would like. I like to work with squares. And why not make copies of these for the corners? So there we go. There we go. All right. So now I'll select this grouping of controls here. I think I might move this gallery over first. Now select that grouping. See how it's easier to select all the controls together here. All right, now I'll just move those over. There we go. Now, let's go look at all the details that we're managing for customers. So we'll click on the ellipsis and go to Edit Data, and we'll go look at our SharePoint data, and we'll look at all the fields that have been defined for customers. All right, so we'll go into the list settings for table customers here. All right, so we got title. We'll use that as a full name, first, last name, city, state, zip, so on and so forth. So I'm going to move that list up on a different screen so I can reference that as I'm working. We probably will not be capturing photos of customers. Can you imagine you wanted a Jiffy Lube or someone to get your car worked on? Like, hold on, we got to get a picture of your face. We need a picture of your face for our system. Everybody be like, no, thank you. No, thanks. I think we need to take that out, which fortunately does free up some space. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take that out. There we go. Now we don't need show pin. Let's just get rid of this pin stuff because customers aren't going to have pins or passwords. Now I don't see any type of fields in our customer list that involves checkboxes, toggles, yes, no, booleans, that type of thing. So I say we take out all these things here. Now I would like a little more space on here for the cars and the work done on the cars. So I'd like this to be a little smaller for these things here. So what I'm thinking is maybe 250. I'm thinking that should be good. All right, so I'm going to select a lot of these here. Actually, let's select these. And let's move them over here, right up against, you know what, let's align the left sides. There we go. And we'll move them right up against that, the other ones. And then we'll use our arrows. So let's make a copy of these. And I'm going to use the down arrow once. I think that will give us what we need. I would think their phone number would probably be the most important piece of information after their names. Okay, so all these controls that reference some gallery, the selected record out of a gallery needs to be changed. Needs to be changed over to record. Okay, so record.firstname. There we go. So on the screen, we need to reference these guys here, which looks right. Yeah, okay. So phone number. Address. This will be city. State. Zip. Zip, there we go. Okay, so we do have the notes down here. I don't know that the notes needs to be that big. Let's move this guy down a little bit. Take state, copy and paste state there. We'll line that up and we'll use the down arrow once. There we go. Now the height is 40, so I can make this wide and verify that the width or the height is still 40. There we go. Oy. Yeah, getting a little cramped here with all of our controls. Just group all these things together. There we go. And let's try to select them all again here. So fun fact, you can't select controls that are not in the same group. Or if you find out how, please let me know. Now it's a little too close to the left side, so select all these controls again and use the right arrow there. Hopefully that looks better, and it does. All right, we'll select these two buttons here and we will move them like that. Let's look. Oh no! Control Z. What just happened there, huh? Did I select all the controls? Is that what it was? Please don't move with everything. Okay, cool. Okay. All right, so I'm inclined to make this notes input box, this text box, a little slimmer. I'm thinking perhaps 65, because the buttons were looking like they were a little too close. Okay. Okay, so I'm sort of liking this. All right, so I can't stand to see errors on the screen for very long, so let's go see what's going on here. All right, so we don't need to reset an add media button. We will keep this new record to true, and this save button is working on a completely different data source. So we need to change all that up. All right, so instead of TBL users, it's going to be TBL customers. All right, so we're going to select that, copy it, and we're going to paste it over on top of that, and paste it over on top of TBL users there. And also, anytime we do a lookup, okay. Now, anytime we see a gallery.selected, we don't have a gallery on the screen that we're selecting and editing like we did on the add edit users screen. So what we're going to do here is, I'm going to say record underscore record dot ID. Okay. All right, so let's work with this title. Title is the main one here, and it is represented by this text box here. Display name, and I think that's already set up. It is. All right. First name, last name. So all these actually should be good. Email address. Make sure that's email 1. So this should be called email. All right. TXT customer email. There we go. Go in here. Okay, we don't have any more pens. We don't have any more of that stuff. We don't have any photos. All right. First name, last name, email address, that's in there. TXT customer phone. TXT customer address. TXT customer city. Customer state. TXT customer zip. All right, let's go and make all these consistent. TXT customer first name. You know, if I was smart, select the TXT customer, put that on the clipboard. So every time you're gonna, of course, I'm already halfway through them all. Last name. Customer title. Customer phone, address, city, state, zip, email. Customer notes. Very good. Very good. All right. Typically, I like to write code against fields in the order that they're being displayed on the screen or the order in which they're displayed in the data source. So, well, a title is sort of special. It's a required field. SharePoint creates a new list, it creates that title field, makes it required. And I really don't like to mess with title. Sometimes when you rename SharePoint columns, it can sort of mess things up. For example, I rename fields. I always like to name them first the right time because sometimes you rename them. PowerApps, or the way in which PowerApps communicates with SharePoint, it still expects you to use the old name, so I try to avoid all that madness. Sometimes there's like a weird, like there's a space in there. Sometimes you have to reference it in a specific way. Many times you get away with the single quotes, but sometimes it does not work. So first, last name. What is the next thing I want to do here? You know, I think I want to take a little screenshot of my fields right here. Yeah, so I love using Snagit. It's not free software, but I believe it's like $50. It's fantastic for making screenshots. Now you can take screenshots without using that just by hitting print screen and pasting that over in something like Paint, putting it over another screen, but Snagit saves me a lot of time. So anyway, all right. All right, so first, last name, display name. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is phone number. As a phone, it's phone. I do like using trim. So say txt customer phone .text. Very good. Address, trim, txt customer address .text. And what I'm tempted to do is just copy and paste. Address, city. Sometimes copy and paste gets you in trouble though. If you don't remember to go back and change what you need to change. City, state. Now, something interesting to do with state is actually put in a default. So I live in Orlando, Florida, so it would make sense that, so if this garage was in Orlando, Florida, you would want to default the city to whatever city you're in. Most people are going to be coming from that city. Now, they could be one city over. They could be from out of town. That's fine, but you might as well default it to the city and state that you're currently in, maybe even the zip. But zips change a lot more than city and states do, especially if you live in a big area. So you could put in there Florida as the default if there is no state, or if you live in, let's say we live in California. How about that? So we would do that. Okay, let's go back to our save button. There's zip, and let's trim that. TXT, customer zip, text, make sure there's a comma on the end. We got email, then we got notes. That's it. All right, so whenever you've got two patches set up, one for the add new and one for the edit existing, a lot of times you'll just, once you get one set just right, you go over here to the other and you just paste it like that. Something that I like to do in an edit screen like this is I like to set the new record, I'm sorry, not the new record, but the current record. Yeah, this guy right here. We'll do an update context. We'll set the record to be what we just, this record variable should be updated with the freshly inserted or updated record that we just performed. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Because phone numbers are fairly unique, if not very unique. Now, if I were to say this was just an update, we would just go get the record, we'd refresh it on the record ID. But in this case, I'm going to go do a lookup on TBL customers. And we're going to look for where the phone equals trim txt. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Phone. All right, so we're going to do a lookup customers, and we're going to go look the customer up based on the phone number. And that should work great. All right. All right, now I want to test this. So on this screen, there really should be no reason to have an add new button. So I'm going to remove that button. All right, let's test this out. So we'll go up to the customer listing screen. We'll run it. We'll go into Amy Davies. These things, I'm going to make them to only be visible when we have the var show debugging. Amy Davies. Now, my question is for the notes is why does it say Darren is the developer? Probably because I don't have this set up right. Should be record.notes. There we go. And do we have an email address for this person? Email. Very good. Zip. State. We're going to default to California. City. Okay. I think we're good at this point. Let's say Amy lives at 101 Main Street and Los Angeles. The reason why California didn't appear in here is because this was an empty string. It wasn't a new record. So we could do another if statement in here, which is if, you know, let's just open this up. If the length of this after it's trimmed is 0, then we will put in CA. All right. Otherwise, we'll use the state that was provided. Now we need not a parenthesis, a comma in there. And I'll click Format Text. There we go. You know what would be really slick here, instead of hard coding California, is that we set up an environment variable for this application and call it default state. That would be nice, huh? So let's go into the app on start. Right? So I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to add in a variable at the bottom. And let's add in a global variable here called set. And we'll call it var default state. And that will be California. Let's set one up for city state zip. How about that? Default state city zip. Let's say 90210. Was a TV series when I was younger, Beverly Hills. So the default city, let's make default city Beverly Hills. Isn't that nice? Okay, what else can we make the default? The address, no. City, state, zip, phone number. You know what we could do for phone number is we could set up a default phone number, because we got area codes. Default area code. One of the area codes is 424. All right, so default area code. I think I've been sitting here trying to figure out if I'm going to do parentheses or not. I think I will, and just leave it at that. Okay, so we're in here. Default. Let's say var default area code. We'll do that, and then we will go get this thing here, and we'll replace this. Our default state. There you go. I think I'm just gonna copy that. And let's do something similar to that for phone. Phone. We got all these default variables here. We got one for area code. All right, we need to do the same thing for city. Very good. Default city. City is set up. Do we have a zip? Nope. All right, so let's do this for zip. All right. Just to show you what's going on with the requirements here. So we've got the users module done, and now we're working on the customers. So we have all these pieces of information. Now we've got vehicles. So let's work on that. Year, make, model, color, tag, VIN, and notes. I think what I'd like to do is test this edit. All right. So we've got address, state, should be California, but that doesn't seem to be set up for some reason. Okay, so if it's a new record, default state. You know what? we set up those variables, but it hasn't been executed yet. So check this out. Let's add in a little temporary button. One click here. And hold on, Alt, click on that. There we go. Won't need that button anymore. All right, so we've got all this. That looks good. And for the notes, I'm going to say, isn't Dave's an odd last name? All right, now the first thing I want to do, it looks like the nav button and the spinner is all situated there. Now the question is, what do we want to have happen when they click save? Do we want it to go back to the previous screen? Let's click on save. Because right now it's just going to sit here. So let's say they start entering some information, they hit save. I don't think I want them to go back. If they want to go back, they just click on back. Okay. So the next thing we want to be displayed is the vehicle information. Okay. Now there's one more aspect that we still need to test. And that is, let's go back to customers here. Okay, I didn't want to see that. Okay, very good. So we're here. And we'll go over here to Amy Davies, and you can see that it was updated. So we know that this goes over and it saved it. Okay, so that's good. So we click back. Now what happens if we click on new? All right, let's make this really obvious. This is new test record. New customer. We'll say test 999. Address is 110 South Street, apartment B. Now this is strange. No, it's not. It's not strange. I was thinking, why didn't that person's email address come up? No, this is a new record. Okay. All right. So email address. So let's put in here new record at domain.com. This is a test record. I'm going to click save. Very good. And I am going to go back to the previous screen, and I'm going to go look for new record, new customer. Okay, let's look and see how this is handled. I also want to check the title. There we go. All right, so we're looking for new customers. So if I type in there, new customer, there we go. All right, so if I click on this, it resets it. Very good. All right, so all that seems to be working fine. Very good. So I'm going to go back into Amy Davies. All right, the question I have is, do we have our SharePoint list set up for cars? And it doesn't look like it. All right, so let's take a look at our SharePoint data source, this SharePoint site here. All right, so you see that we've got a SharePoint list for customers and users. We do not have one for vehicles. So let's create a new list, and we will call it TBL vehicles. We'll call it TBL vehicles. We'll not show it on the site navigation. And we will create. All right, so this is the information that we want to capture for vehicles: year, make, model, color, tag, VIN, and notes. That doesn't have to be a full VIN. Sometimes garages will capture the last 4 digits of the VIN. Because we're not going to do math with the year, and we're not going to sort it numerically based on the year, I'm inclined just to make it a single line of text. And we've got a make, which is who makes the car. Model. That's annoying. Model. Color. All right, SharePoint. Tag. That almost is reason enough just to go into the list settings, so you don't have to deal with that anymore. Just go in here. Tag, then see, don't have to deal with it. Notes, make that multiple lines of text, and when you make it multiple lines of text, you also need to make sure that it is plain text. Very good. Okay, now there is something that we need to put in here, and we'll call this customer ID. Very good. Now we will make that a number, because IDs are numbers. Okay, we'll click OK. All right, so that customer ID is going to be like a foreign key that links us over to the customer table. Now the vehicles for a customer, we'll keep track of that in a gallery. All right, now that we have added this TBL vehicles, we actually need to add it into the project. So we'll go in here, SharePoint, TBL. No, that's not what we want to do. We want to click on PowerApps data. There we go. TBL vehicles. There we go. TBL vehicles. Now we don't need photos, and I can't imagine they would take photos of the cars. They could. Might not be a bad idea, but I've never seen a shop take a photo of my vehicle when I go in, and I'm sure customers would be like, why are you taking a photo of my car, bro? All right, so I'm going to move this over. Okay, I'm going to take one of these guys and make sure this is spaced out right. All right, so what I want to do is base this rectangle off of that gallery. So say that dot y minus self dot height. There we go. And I really don't care for how tall this is. Let's say vehicles. Let's make this more like a 40. Make this height to be the same height as that rectangle. Okay. There we go. All right, so we don't need photos of cars. All right, let's take these labels out. I don't think that we will need those. All right, so this gallery is going to tie to TBL vehicles. Very good. There we go. I think what we'll do is we'll have these edit fields. I'll probably copy some of these, put them over here, and it will allow for a quick edit of the vehicle information. And then, I mean, if you think about it, a customer comes in, typically they only have 1 to 3 cars. And if there's more than 1 car, it's fine. There'll be a scroll bar there. And then I believe what we'll also do, there'll be 1 to 3 cars listed here. If there's more, they'll have a scroll bar. And they'll have the service data that has been done on those cars down below. That's what I'm thinking right now. So let's make some copies of some of this stuff here. There we go. Move that over. So I think that's going to look fine. Let's make a copy of this blue rectangle here, and let's make sure that all lines up and looks nice. I think we got 1 pixel to move over here. There we go. Here, make, model, color tag then. Well, I don't think it's going to work out, is it? I mean, a year, we could probably get by with 70, change that to a number. Even if they use a 4-digit number, it's still going to look good. Very good. Okay. 40. Model. Year, make, model. Make sure they're all aligned to the left side. There we go. Model. Other. Tag. Okay. This is looking good. Tag. Then notes. All right, so save. New. Let's go with 135. Or just 130. All right. All right, so this is where we'll use that new record variable. So let's go over to, let's see. Yeah, this button right here. And yeah, it's very simple. It just, new record equals true. That's all that it will do. So I'll replace all that with that. That probably would not be a good idea because that variable also involves this guy over here. So it could be a new customer, not just a new car. So that needs to be, say, new car record or vehicle. Car is a lot easier to type than vehicle. So I'm going to leave it as car. Something over here. And I do that. Very good. Record equals default. That's good. That's what I wanted to do. So this is vehicles. There's no data in the vehicles table. All right, for the record itself, what I'm going to do is say record car. Okay. And then on the on-click for this gallery, so I'm going to say update oh, you know what? We can just do it all in one here instead of just, yeah. Car record, this item. I think I'm gonna new car record, false, this. There we go. So we got record car. So this is going to be here. In order to keep this straight in my head, I'm going to have to make sure this is at the end. Otherwise, I won't be able to keep it straight. Car. Very good. New record car. And then record car. You know what? Let's default the current year to the current year. All right, so year now. What? What? Year. Year. What? No. There you go. 2021. That's what it should be. All right. Is the new record? No. If I click on that button, it will be. There we go. There we go. All right. Make. All right, this is going to be model. Very good. And then we'll have color. And then we'll have tag. And then we'll have then. Notes. All right. Should any of this stuff default to anything? No. Nah, except the year. All right. So now we'll go in here and we'll say new record car. And we'll say TBL vehicles. Paste that there, paste that there, paste that there. Paste that there. All right. I'm going to take all that out. All right, so txt car year, txt car make, txt car model, txt car color, car tag. Let's take a screenshot here. All right, I'm going to come back to that title in a moment, but we're going to start off with year. Then we're going to do make. Model. Okay. I like to put trims around certain fields where users have a tendency to put extra spaces. And the title is going to be a mixture of those three things. So and how I understand trim is if we concatenate them all together, we only need one. Your make model, boom, all right. Question is, do we put color in there as well? Sure. Now we probably also need a little space in between all these, right? Why not? Color. Tag. something's wrong because the colors are messed up here. So tag, is it really tag? Is there... Yeah, car tag. And in the database, it's called tag. But you see there's an error there. So sometimes it doesn't give me any red squigglies. What you do is you click on this downward chevron and click on get help for this error. And it might tell you something. Color does not match expected type text. Oh, you know what we forgot was the ending parenthesis. There we go. All right, tag, then go. We got notes. And one of the most important things that we need to capture, it's so important you might want to put at the top, which is customer ID. And we'll reference the context variable record.id. Look at that. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all this and paste it right here. Okay, so instead of referencing, when we're editing an existing vehicle record, instead of referencing this record here, we could just reference this gallery. Gallery, customer, cars. And I don't think we need that line there. New record for the car is false. You know what? I think I will leave that in there. Say cut record car. Just in case we need it for anything. Okay, so let's find out what this error is about. All right, we're good. To show us more information. Expected operator. Now we'll go back in here and see if it gives us a red squiggly, which it does not. What I do in this case is I just close down the project to open it back up. So let me see if I get an operator. Okay. Yeah. It's not evident to me, so I'm just going to save, close, and reopen. Reopen, log back in, and we're going to click on Amy Davies. And there's the error. Let's see what we got now. There we go. Look at that. We missed a comma right there, and we need to go down here and make sure we got a comma down here. That's what was going on. See what type of difference that makes? Yeah. All right, so let's go in here and add a car. Now what I don't like is this being evaluated as 0. So if I said new, it would be fine. So Let's do another if statement here. Okay, so this is caused because in the SharePoint list, year is a single line of text. And this text box is set up to only handle numbers. So if do a length. If the length is equals 0, we'll use that. Otherwise, we'll use record.year. And I think that would work out really well. All right, make Ford Mustang color black, tag A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, then X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3, 4 notes. This is the GT model. And cross your fingers, save it. Look at that. Isn't that great? All right. So I'm going to back out, and something I noticed is put this to the top. And we need to find the spinner, which is right there. Move that to the top. Now what I would like to do is make all of these controls one group. Now I think we're missing one of these labels here. There it is. Now I wonder what that rectangle is right there. Ah, okay, we don't need that. Let's make all that a group. Okay, so if I run this and I click on that, what I think would work best, because you have everything on the same screen here, instead of referencing that variable, oh, okay, that's what's going on. So I put it in the record after we saved it. I put it in this variable, and what we need to do is I'm going to go look for the last record that has that same title. Title equals that. Okay, so there might be more than one record with the same year, make, model, color. So let's do a filter instead of a lookup, and then we will say last, and that should give us the very last one. But we should probably sort it. Sort filter. Okay, we need to break this up a little bit. Sort filter. sort that based on modified. I'd say, yeah, descending. And instead of last, we should do first. Okay, now that should give us the last, or the exact record that we just edited. Whether it is a new or an existing record. So for example, click on that, boom, edited, save, and you see that? All those values stayed in there, that's nice. Okay, now what I was going to say was instead of referencing that variable, here's the deal with working with context variables or variables that hold the current record that was selected in the gallery. Is there's always a selected record in a gallery, but let's say you come up on the screen and you have to actually initialize that variable. The gallery, you don't have to initialize it. It's always gonna, it usually has the very first record selected. And if we have like say on this gallery, go into action and go to on select, we have something that initializes that variable there. But if that event doesn't happen, if they don't click on it, then these values aren't going to be initialized. Okay, so for that reason, what I would recommend is just instead of over here for the defaults for these guys, gallery.selected instead of that. I think what might make sense for this screen, because I don't want it to be much more busy than what it already is, I'm going to bring this gallery all the way down and sort of fill out the screen. However, service on this car, what I might have is some type of a count of how many times it was serviced in the past. Either have a new screen or have a pop-up showing all the service that has been provided for that vehicle, rather than it being displayed down below. At this point, I might change my mind, but right now that's what I'm thinking. So let's give Amy some more vehicles, at least one more. All right, we'll say new. And let's say Amy only likes brand new cars. So Chevy. Equinox. Color is white. Tag. EEE 505 or 560, whatever. Then let's make it ZZXXYY. Notes. Turbocharged. Save. There we go. All right, I like it. Okay, so there's one thing that we need to modify on this, which was if you look at this vehicles gallery, the data source is just pulling in TBL vehicles. It's not filtering based on this particular customer. So what we need to do is we need to filter it. say customer ID equals record dot ID. That should give us the same two records. All right, there we go. So, put a Control S. All right, so I'm going to run it. I'm going to go back to customer listing here. Let me go and add him over here. Okay, so he's got no cars. That's good that it's not pulling up her cars. You see that? Okay. Another question is, how should we sort this gallery? So let's sort these cars based on last modified. And let's make it descendingly, or descending. There we go. I think that would make sense. All right, I feel good about this screen. I like how it looks, and I think it's a pretty intuitive interface. So I'm gonna. I think what we'll do is, as we move throughout the application, let me just show you our requirements doc. We've got all the customer cars module done. Then we'll move into job types, because before we can have an order, and an order is a customer coming in placing an order of things to be done on the car. So they could have an inspection, some type of a smog inspection, or it could be a brake service, it could be an oil change. They could be going in there and needing all three of those things done. They're dropping out the car for the day for those three things to be done. Or let's say they're coming in for 10 things to be done. They're leaving it there for a week. All those things would be a part of one order. And then they would come in and pay for the order and then get the car back. So before we can have orders and jobs, or an order of jobs, we need to have job types. So we need to create that screen. All right, so it's just sort of building one module at a time. And as we move along, we'll go back and see if it makes sense to actually, we'll sort of put the pieces together. Okay, so that should be fun. For now, I'll call this screen done.
If you found anything in this video helpful, we would really appreciate you click on that like button. If you want to get a solid foundation on PowerApps, there are 10 things you must know. Lucky for you, my husband wrote the book. We are actually offering it for free. Click on the link below to download your free copy today. And if you want to connect with us or work with Darren directly, visit our website. The link is below. Thanks.